Hi, this is my video for 6D, providing scales and rubrics is the growth goal I'm going to be talking about. So in the video that I posted of class, I realized when I was watching it back, I kind of looked at like my week and I was like, oh, this will be great here, that providing scales and rubrics and providing review and feedback are like one and the same. They kind of really go together. And I honestly really needed help with both. So what you're seeing is kind of the review that they're looking at the scale and rubric on their paper, and we're going over why they were off on the scale. Off meaning like I thought that they could do better based on their previous work. So I kind of set up this year a system that is stretch, walk, run, and sprint. So if they get a 1, 2, 3, or 4, that's associated with stretch, walk, run, and sprint. And I wanted that terminology just so that students had something concrete that they could think about. We talked about how, stretching is like great for your body, you're warming up, but you are definitely not moving towards your goal yet. Walking, you're moving towards your goal, but it's going to be really slow. It's not going to be as fast. Running, you're going to get there faster. It's good for your body, like you're getting there. And then sprinting, you're going to get there really fast, but we can't always maintain a sprint because I wanted students to be realistic that like 3 is meeting expectations. And so we're not always going to be at that next level. So we went through in the video, I had all the students look at it. We went through what they could have done better. We talked about kind of like good. We also used the term good 7th grade sentence. I used that a couple times in the video. And they had on their paper, which I included in the document, they had the scale and it circled which one, and then they had the grading notes. So I took a minute to let them look at where you are. And then we talked about how to get ahead. I did that on this one because I noticed the whole class was like a 1 or a 2, which wasn't typical for this skill that we're practicing, which is expanding sentences and giving sentences more detail. So I wanted to take a minute to review it. So it is the review piece, but it is looking at that scale and rubric and actually using it when it's done. I have also been doing peer review this week because they're writing papers, and that's the first time I've ever used peer review. So I know that's not in any videos, but as I'm implementing these things, I've been just really excited by some of the really huge results. And today and yesterday were definitely 2 of those days because they finished writing their papers, they typed them up, and then before I grade them, they have to peer review using the actual rubric, and that's been awesome. So sorry to get on a tangent, but so strengths, I like that we're taking time. I like that the kids are seeing their feedback, they're seeing it quickly, they're kind of understanding in language, okay, this is where I was at with this skill on this day, and then they can set goals because we've been doing a lot more goal setting using those scales and rubrics as well. So I think that was really positive. I think maybe the thing that I really need to work on for sure, when I watched the video back, I was like, oh my gosh, is using the terminology better. It's new terminology for me, so I'm getting into old patterns. But I watched it back and I'm like, I didn't say, okay, are we stretch, walk, run, or sprint? I didn't say 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't draw them specifically to their, we didn't talk through the rubric again. We talked about it before, they look at it before they do any of their work. It's part of our read the questions first. You also read the scales first. But I wish I would have kind of gone a little more into that than just look at your grade, look at your marks, and then jumping a little quicker into review. I wish I would have said the 2 was this, the 3 could have been this. So I'm definitely working on that aspect of it, the language of it, using the terminology in review as well, not just before when we set up. A really cool thing, kind of as an extra anecdote to how this growth goal has really developed and helped me as a teacher. Over the summer, I got the opportunity to work on some curriculum planning and things like that. And one thing that we did as an English department, a couple of us, is we took every single standard in the Common Core State Standards and we broke it out for 6th, 7th, and 8th next to each other. We highlighted all the action words, like the do words, we made I can statements. But the cool thing that really fits into this, and I was able to bring and say like, hey, based on this growth goal, I think we could really do this, is we have a scale for every single standard that there is. So it's a basic scale. It definitely would need to be tweaked for like maybe a specific assignment, but every standard now has a scale rubric attached to it for the entire middle school level. I felt like once I did that, I was like, okay, I can do these scales. I feel like rubrics were easier for me, but understanding how to word and do scales was harder. The one thing I am working on is student-facing language about scales. I've realized that my scales are written in a very teacher-friendly language, a lot of just academic and pedagogy and vernacular that comes from teaching. And so I'm working on ways to get that verbiage when I'm showing the kids the scale to be a little bit more student friendly. So that's also a weakness of mine right now that I'm working on. But I was really excited to make scales for every standard. So now for every lesson, I don't have to kind of reinvent the wheel. I just say, okay, what standard are we working on? I already have a scale, and the school is using that, which I think is really cool.